water on the seabed. The transformation of a dangerous creature into a benevolent monster. For this reason, the bodies of the dead, in accordance with the wishes of all the Hindus, are cremated in the image of the dragon. The symbol of the dragon. For those who die, and for their relatives who believe in the sacred right of karma and the law of reincarnation, the spirit of the dead will return to life. For the deceased who have deserved it, there is a prize: to be reincarnated in the noble, agile body of the serpent, endowed with wisdom and shrewdness. Another aspect of the Far East in today's world: sprawling cities dominated by towering skyscrapers. Here we find important pharmaceutical research centers that specialize in the application of venom taken from the world's most dangerous species of snake. Poisons as antidotes, and as invaluable essential elements in a wide range of medicines. The men and women who work in these centers handle their slippery guinea pigs with practiced ease. These scientists are experts in the application of snake venom that is so often used to save human lives. It is not by chance that in cultures throughout the world, the snake is the symbol of doctors and medical research. The East is no exception. Here, the serpent is seen as a demon savior, a dragon which man can petition for help. One of the many examples of dragons and witchcraft in the Far East. Flight over the Pacific Ocean. Our destination is a series of remote, uninhabited archipelagos. Thousands of miles from the American continent on the other side of the ocean, these barren outcrops of land in far eastern waters are a last refuge for many animal species that are extinct elsewhere. We reach the deserted shores of the Galapagos by long-range helicopter. These large volcanic islands were once called the Dragon's Cradle by sailors who plied the eastern seas. Now they are the indisputed realm of hundreds and thousands of iguanas, constantly on the hunt for food. In order to survive, the iguanas must prey on the young of smaller species. And the mainstay of their daily diet is to be found in the nests of seabirds. A link in the food chain which maintains the ecological balance. A difficult rapport vital to the coexistence of many different animal species, each distinct in its own evolutionary process in this restricted environment hemmed in by the ocean. Is this a monster? It is for a defenseless creature and its nest. For the sea swallow, its eggs and young, it is without doubt the dragon, the all-devouring monster. We leave this remote corner of the Pacific Ocean. Our new destination is another group of tiny islands in the Philippine and Indonesian archipelago. On the very edge of that fascinating part of the globe known as the Far East. There are so many of these islands, some just dots in the sea, that no one really knows their exact number. Tiny atolls like this are often natural marine biology laboratories. Here, the most diverse forms of sea life live and reproduce. Warm waters, rich in plankton. Ideal breeding grounds for many dangerous species that are then carried far afield in great numbers by the sea currents. The Far Eastern sea serpents are good examples. When they reach coastal waters off Japan, China, and Indonesia, they pose a deadly threat to sailors and fishermen. It is no wonder that Japanese fishermen make offerings to them to placate their anger and ward off the risk of mortal attacks. Mortal. It is no coincidence that the ritual in honor of the sea serpent is the same as the one which is traditionally dedicated to those who die at sea. This worshipping of the sea serpent embodies the principles of life and death, essential elements in all Eastern depictions of sacred monsters. In China, the danger of sea snakes is not only a threat to fishermen. Should a specimen be caught in the trawl, it may bite the workers who board the junk to unload the catch. All too often, the threat of the sea serpent lurks in the floating communities between Canton and Hong Kong, like the Tankia fishermen's villages, veritable urban developments of junks anchored in sheltered bays. Here, statistics show that the young are the most exposed to the danger, the fishermen's children. Here, boys and girls bitten by sea snakes are victims of an aggressor they have probably never even seen in the murky waters that host their floating homes. But they will certainly have been told about them by their fathers and older brothers who man the fishing boats. And they can get an idea of what they look like from the gaudy paper dragons that are paraded through the streets of coastal cities during annual pageants. Figures to those of the imagination. The hint of a much more fearsome figure can be seen in the sinuous movements of this colorful, good-natured monster. Terrifying, nightmarish reproductions of dragons and monsters can be found everywhere in the East, painted, engraved, sculpted, and carved. Like this one in ivory, on display in the Singapore Museum of Ancient Art. Since time immemorial, a host of anonymous artists in the Far East have established in an infinite number of works a specific, albeit imaginary, identification between the dragon and the serpent. The same identification prevails in another field, that of popular medicine, in which it has a particularly curious aspect. The belief that what brings death also holds the secret of life. In fact, in Korea, it is possible to buy a medicine which claims to prolong the effects of youth and boost virility. The potion is based on a blend of herbs to which witch doctor chemists have added an extract, which they say can give immortality, made from the venom of the quoc sea, the deadly water snake. Vast tropical areas in the Far East were once covered by rainforests populated by fauna of every species. Isolated stretches of this dense jungle can now be found only in certain parts of Malaysia, the Philippines, and the Malaccan Peninsula. High humidity and constant shade. The ideal habitat for snakes of every species that manage to survive here in great numbers in spite of extensive environmental devastation. While two other members of this green world, the tiger and the orangutan, are in danger of extinction. One of the inhabitants of tropical rivers in the Far East, living amid the rocks and weeds, is the freshwater cobra. The danger this river serpent represented provided the inspiration for fearsome river dragon figureheads found not only on transport junks, still widely used on southern Chinese waterways, but also on fishing boats and, above all, on racing craft. Competing crews from different villages always have one thing in common: the dragon symbol. One of many monstrous lords of the water, once both feared and honored. Challenge events like this are in their honor. Evidence of this can be found in ancient documents, which show that from feudal times to the present day, individual communities claimed the protection of their own particular dragon. A gong is struck to start the race, and crews strain to the limit to defend not only the community honor, but above all, the sacred honor of the dragon. The race is rowed against the current, and every oarsman must give his utmost. Everybody is aware of the effort involved. And when the race is over, there is unrestrained enthusiasm for the winning team. 3,000 kilometers from China lies Indonesia. Here, as the sun rises, we make a landfall in the small islands that lie off Bali. Lombok, Nusa Penida. Fishing villages like this one on Lombok have yet to experience the peaceful but desecrating invasion of mass tourism. During the day, the old people remain in the village. Every able-bodied man is out fishing. Hard-working hands busily make objects to satisfy daily needs. Children remain in the village to help the old people. When the canoes return, they are there to lend a hand while the village elders look on. Look at this unusual prow. It's the traditional design of the Lombok canoes, the mouth of a dragon, based on that of a creature that roams the depths off the island, the giant moray eel. In local dialect, it is called yurak. Honoring that which is most feared is a characteristic aspect of communities that live in direct contact with the forces of nature. The figurehead on the fishing boats of the Indonesian island of Lombok is the islanders' way of exorcising their fear of the yurak, which all too often has bitten children playing in the water and men working the reefs, from where this crew is now returning. Whether they be merchant sailors or fishermen, the yurak protects all those who make their living on the sea. Even the children's toy boats, just like the real ones, have the talisman figurehead carved on the bow. Another crew sets out to sea, sailing past the reefs where the yurak hides. There are no canoes here without the protective symbol. This is probably because there are no crews here who do not believe in the dragon that lives just off the first reef. We leave Lombok and return to Bali with its dark, mysterious forests, where, near the village of Payangan, there is a temple dedicated to a monster called Barong. A pantomime is held in Barong's honor, co-starring a mime in the guise of a monkey. Humans play only minor roles. The mime appears from the forest. Two men who watch him arrive are played with much irony. The monkey and man. Man and the monkey, who has come to keep an appointment. Everyone has gathered to witness the encounter. an encounter with the Barong dragon. The spirit of the forest offers a greeting, which the dragon returns. The men, on the other hand, are afraid. The Barong has a thorn in his foot and is obviously in pain. The pantomime shows how the monkey is braver than the men. They take to their heels, and the monkey will overcome its fear of the dragon and help it to remove the thorn. Which is the injured foot? This one? The monkey approaches the monster with both fear and love. A great deal of fear. The village children enjoyed the show. For the men of the village, however, the mask of the Barong recalls a memory that cannot be forgotten. The memory of the dragon. Not the make-believe one, but the creature that lives in the forests of these islands. The claws of the costume, the claws of the real Barong. Yes, these monstrous beings, so feared by man, could once be found on many islands in Indonesia. Now they are just a memory. But there is one region in this archipelago where the Barong is still the supreme master. A living monster with armored skin, claws, a teeth-filled mouth. A forked tongue which darts out, probing the air. Our search for the Barong dragon that has survived the process of evolution takes us to a sparsely inhabited area on the shores of another remote island. Dawn on Komodo, an island where time stands still. The primitive inhabitants of this village live off the sea and the land. Aside from what little the sea has to offer, a small dingo-like animal lives in the thick vegetation inland and serves as the chosen prey for two predators who are always on the hunt here, man and the Barong. The giant baron. This reptile monster is the inspiration behind the tale of the Barong, a hunter as astute and as hungry as man. There are hundreds of barons in the hills of Komodo. They are known locally as dragons, and their kingdom is the heart of the island, where man only ventures with great caution. Komodo is a small island, but it is big enough to support both the community of human hunters and the surviving colony of hunter reptiles. In this woodland, there is enough game for men and for dragons. This is why the giant reptiles have survived here, and only here, after becoming extinct in other areas as the human communities increased in number. Yes, here in this forgotten corner of the Far East, these last surviving creatures of the Jurassic Age live on, reminding us of the days when the world was dominated by the most powerful dragons of all time. the dinosaurs. Today's dragons are but a reflection of their image. When men give up the hunt, leaving behind prey that has escaped their attention, it is time for the giant reptiles to take up the chase. The wild dingo is the quarry. Allow a dragon, or 10 or 100, to survive in their natural state, just as they survived 100 million years ago.
In February on PBS. See how science is saving lives. And meet the creature behind these eyes. Discover one man's quest for adventure and another's voice for justice. And celebrate a century of African American art. Coming in February on PBS.
Kelly Temporary Services is proud to support quality programs on Channel 9. Kelly Services offers short and long-term, temporary to full-time employment opportunities for persons with administrative, data entry, information technology, or customer service experience. Kelly Services has been serving the needs of St. Louis area businesses and those seeking flexible employment for over 50 years. For more information, contact Kelly Temporary Services at 314-576-7787.
Hey, Ray Rain here. Just call this number right at the bottom of your screen. Get 9net, and you'll be able to explore the whole internet deal. Oh, and one other thing. Get a computer first.
What if the world held no more mysteries? Would we care about the future? At PBS, we know discoveries begin as questions. So we're as curious about science as you are. And together, we find that there's as much to discover in the smallest cell as in the largest star. You just have to ask the right questions. And if PBS doesn't do it, who will?
You're watching KETC Channel 9, St. Louis.